Have any of you found the Holy Grail?
I don't. I would say that you and Kevin found the Holy Grail. You know, you guys got a nice family. I feel like that's the Holy Grail in life, in my opinion.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail is one of the best movies there are.
I've never seen it. That's a funny.
I've never seen it either.
Only
But
clips. I've only
I
seen
saw
clips.
I saw Jack Black and a bunch of the other celebrities when they redid it in their backyards during COVID.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, so
What
like
the
they like
hell?
none of them were together either. They all filmed it by themselves in their backyard, and Jack Black like put it together.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's so cool. What the what?
Welcome to the magic of animation, where we explore the enchanting world of Disney, from the classics we grew up with to the latest releases. We'll take a deep dive into the artistry, storytelling, the unforgettable characters, and the pure magic that makes these movies timeless. So whether you're a lifelong Disney fan or new to the magic, sit back, relax, and join us as we embark on our journey through the wonderful, magical world of animation. Hello everybody and welcome to the magic of animation. Today we are talking about the Sword in the Stone. And my name is Joey, but you can call me Sir Lancelot. I'm joined by Dequan, aka Sir Percival.
Hello.
And Kevin, aka Sir Gawain. Gawain?
Hey there.
And Mike, Sir Galahad.
Ayo.
Hey, I didn't just look that stuff up.
Not
But we are back again for another episode, so let's get into it with Pooh's 100-acre check-in. Dequan, how's your week been?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. My week's been pretty tiring. Mostly just to the fact that I just suck at sleeping. But like, other than that, like it's been pretty alright, pretty tamed.
Kevin?
A great week. This weekend I was out on the west side of the state for a bachelor party.
The west side of the state's the best.
Yeah. Went to the Silver Lake sand dunes.
Oh,
and,
Silver Lake's great.
yeah, rode a four-wheeler around them for about 4 hours, so it was a good time.
The little All Sable Lighthouse is right over there. It's one of my favorite lighthouses. Love it. How about you, Mike?
it was chill.
Nice. I didn't do much, just working a lot, trying to, my paycheck was only 8 hours because of Disney and COVID, so
Oof.
I went in on Saturday for the first time in months, and I went to bed at like 3 in the morning on Friday, and I had to get up at 6 o'clock for work on Saturday, so
Oh, I love it. Those are my kind of hours.
I didn't get there till 7, and then I left at 10 o'clock, so didn't go so well. But other than that, didn't really do much. Enjoying the nice cool weather of fall arriving.
Not too fond of that.
I love fall.
Gotta break my hoodies out a little early.
Oh, but the hoodies are the best thing to
Did you
wear
already
in
have
the
them cracked
universe.
Yes, but there were short sleeve hoodies.
I love short sleeve hoodies. They're
Right.
underrated.
Aren't they?
My favorite shirt is my Under Armour short sleeve hoodie.
I might need to get one of those.
It's good.
They're underrated because they don't just sell them normally. Like whenever you just look up hoodie, they're immediately like, here's all these other like long sleeve ones in the stores. You have to specifically go and look up for short sleeve hoodies.
Yeah. So someone's got a dying, smoke detector, that's what it's
Alarm.
called.
Do they?
Someone does. I don't know who.
Thought I heard it for a second, but
Y'all are scaring me. like, I'm sitting here now, I'm like listening closely in my house, like, is it me?
I'm sure we'll hear it again. But, Sword in the Stone was released on December 25th, Christmas Day, 1963. It's based on The Sword in the Stone by T.H. White, and it was produced by Walt Disney. Where's the stats? Here it is. The budget for this movie was $3 million, but it only made $4.75 million. And then lifetime, it made $22.2 million. And I forgot to look it up on Rotten Tomatoes, so let me pull that up real quick. Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, jeez, come on. What do you guys think the rating's gonna be?
For like critics or audience?
Both.
I feel like the critics may be 79, and the audience may be 60.
What was the last one ranked or rated?
101 Dalmatians was a 98 critically and a 76 audience.
I'm gonna say this one is going to be a 70 critically, and then audience will be a 60.
How about you, Kevin?
I'm gonna say 82 and 75.
Well, you guys, well, Kevin was kind of close, but not really with critically. Critically, it was a 67.
Whoa.
And audience gave it a 73.
Audience really like their 70s, huh?
Yeah, this movie's not very critically acclaimed. But with that, we can go into... Wait, hang on. Hang on. Is there any awards that I missed? So I looked up Bard. Bard is a lot, I think, a lot more... the AI is a lot more... confused than ChatGTP, because it said this film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Original Song for Hi Ho. Not exactly this movie, but
I think that's a different movie with a guy with a beard. That's a different movie with multiple guys with a beard.
yeah, it's kind of strange. But it didn't get
receive an
nominated.
Academy Award nomination. Yes.
Did it? For what?
Yeah. Got
For Hi-Ho.
nominated for best score.
Really?
Yeah.
Must have been not that much stuff coming out that year, huh?
Shots?
So with that, we'll go into overall enjoyment. I did not like this movie.
Bro, neither did I.
I had a feeling going into this. I'm like, I'm gonna like this movie, and then I'm watching it. I'm like, I already know they're not gonna like it.
I was struggling so hard to pay attention for like the first half of the movie.
With all due respect, I did pass out. But I woke back up in like the next like 10 minutes, I think.
You think?
There was still a lot of movie left, all right?
Yeah. I still, what's the movie? Peter Pan and Fantasia are the only 2 movies I've fallen asleep on, so I didn't fall asleep to this one. Didn't cry in it
Kevin,
either.
are you on their side or are you with me? Who are you at, Kevin?
I'm kind of down the middle. It wasn't my favorite, but I mean, it had some cool parts.
Man,
Okay.
telling you, when I was watching it, I was like, this movie needs to pick up or it is in danger of being below Bambi.
Okay,
I
so
mean, it was kind of lackluster. I mean, there's a couple things going into that, but
yeah, so the thing is, right, I have a bit of a biasness because I love the tale of King Arthur, but as a movie, this does not hold up too well to the actual tale. And I'm not talking about like how they tell it. I'm talking about in engagement wise. So I can understand. That's why I'm like, you know what? I can't even blame them for not liking it, because it is like it's a very, you have to kind of be really into it to enjoy it like that. Because other than that, it's not that engaging of a movie.
yeah.
So I only wrote down 2 things in overall enjoyment of things that I liked. One was for some reason, I really liked them teaching him how to read and write. I don't know why. That gave me a nice warm and fuzzy feeling. That just seems like something that wouldn't be in a movie. And I absolutely loved when Merlin came back from Bermuda in his beachwear.
Oh, yeah, he was stripped out.
Yeah.
His modern day beachwear, and they can keep it.
21st century, baby.
It was so good. But yeah, other than that, I really did not like this movie.
Yeah, my main reason for not liking the movie is just similar to like what the rest of you said. Like it was like outside of Mike, but it was like a little lackluster. Like I'm sitting here like in the same. I was in the same position as Joey. I was like, all right, it's gonna pick up at some point, right? And it just didn't. It was like a wet noodle through the whole way through, and I'm just like, oh, huh. And then when the ending happened, I'm like, oh, I'm like, this was just the movie, huh?
So
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, as a movie, I understand why. There's not much engagement. It's very slow paced. It's treading a middle ground the whole time. I only like it because I just like the theme, basically. I like its theme, its setting, and what it's based on. Other than that, as judging it as a movie, it's very just, it plays it safe down the middle. Like, we don't want to go too far, but we also don't want to go too low. Just play it safe down the middle. Don't do anything crazy.
yeah.
I don't even know they'll call it safe.
When I started getting engaged and paying attention was not to the movie's credit. It was the squirrel scene, and I hated that scene so much that it made me start paying attention.
Well, that's the scene that slept on because I don't remember a squirrel.
Well, oh jeez,
Oh man,
you did not miss
I had a
anything.
whole heartbreak moment with that squirrel. I don't know why they did that.
I hated that scene so much. Oh man, at that point, I was like, this is getting a lower score than Bambi.
No.
It actually made me feel kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. When that squirrel got her heart broken, I was like, "Dang, man, that one hit me for some reason." I feel bad. I feel so bad. But Merlin got what he deserved. That's all I can say.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Y'all gonna have to educate me because I thought Merlin didn't do anything wrong. What happened?
Merlin turned them both into squirrels, like he did with the fish, and a female squirrel started like getting mad feels for Arthur. And he was just the whole time was just trying to get away from her, which I thought was really stupid. How is that training for anything? Why does he need to be chased by a female squirrel to be trained for something?
There was nothing to be learned from that lesson.
And then what Mike is saying, I believe, is that Merlin, then a larger drawn squirrel, starts being affectionate towards Merlin, and Merlin gets all freaked out because he's been laughing at Arthur the whole time, but then now he has to deal with it.
Okay.
This is the whole time he's enticing it. He even once when Arthur goes hiding under his tail and the girl squirrel's looking, he looks at her and points to his tail where he's hiding. And he's just getting a kick out of this man being chased down by this girl squirrel. And he's laughing the whole time about it, and then it came right back on him, and he did the exact same thing that Arthur tried to do, and I'm like, that was deserved. That was deserved.
See, I only remember him turning into a bird.
Well, you missed the fish scene too? You missed a lot more than 10 minutes, bud.
Well, you sure it wasn't 10 minutes?
No.
I'm pretty
With
sure.
how slow paced this movie is, you missed like 30.
Oh boy, 30-minute nap. Let's go.
So we discussed this before the start of the pod, where we're going to change the format of the pod a little bit. Instead of doing all the ratings at the end of the review segment, mainly because I keep forgetting about it, we're going to do it at the end of each category. So, Dequan, how would you rate your overall enjoyment of The Sword in the Stone?
Not gonna lie, that's a 5 for me, Chief.
That's higher than I would have guessed, but it's fair. Kevin?
For overall enjoyment, I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm going with a 4.
And
It had a couple good
sorry.
points, but no, you're good. It had a couple good points, and some animation was good, but it was lacking a couple other aspects that I like.
Yeah. Mike?
I'm gonna say a 7.
For me, like we've been saying, it's so slow paced. The animation isn't that great. I feel like it's worse than I'll say it's better than 101 Dalmatians. I think they got a little bit better with the Xerox machine, but other than that, man, it's not that great. That's getting a 3 for me. Is that lower than Bambi? Let me see. It's lower than Bambi. Bambi got a 4.
I want to say
We're off to a great start.
So, storyline and plot. It has a decent plot because it's the Knights of the Round Table in King Arthur. It's not Knights of the Round Table. I shouldn't say that. It's King Arthur.
I kind of appreciated this take on it because it doesn't take place with him becoming like a full-blown knight fighting and becoming a king. It's more about his upbringing as a child to be a proper young man, a knowledgeable person too. A person who doesn't just fight with brawn but intelligence.
Bro, what intelligence?
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like he just got lucky a lot.
I mean, you can call it luck. You can call it intelligence because that was the point, as he kept, hammering it in to fight with your head, not just with brawn. Do not be all brawn. You need brains as well to be great.
Yeah, but to be fair, Arthur didn't have brawn to work with.
So he had to work even harder. He had to use his brain even more.
Yeah. I'm just being devil's advocate there. But what I was going to say, because you said that they didn't dive into the rest of the lore, do you think that they would have done a sequel if this movie had done better?
Oh, absolutely.
If it had done better, no. It wouldn't have been an official sequel. It would have just been like one of those one-off sequels they've already been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, actually. If it did good, I would imagine they would.
Yeah. Probably.
The thing is, though, I don't think they would go really into him being older. I think it would take place right after. It would be a lot more lighthearted, maybe meeting a young Lancelot as a friend, and then maybe meeting some girl as a love interest, and then that's kind of all it would be.
I want to see that.
You think the squirrel would come back?
The squirrel? No,
Merlin would turn the squirrel
into a human.
Oh, snap.
That's amazing.
The squirrel just keeps stalking him. Merlin's looking at the squirrel's in the window still watching him. He's still got feeling, what if I just turned her into a human? And then there you go.
Boom.
Sign me up. I want to see that movie.
Problem with that squirrel human won't know how to speak though. Like they will still make squirrel noises.
Well, Merlin and Archimedes already have experience teaching someone how to read and write. What's speaking?
That's true.
Magic too. I'm just saying. You should probably come in trying to make the little squirrel noises and be like, "Help, huh? Yeah, huh?" And then be making a bunch of different noises, not just squirrel noises.
So I'm gonna rapid fire some things.
Teach them how to speak.
You guys jump in if you want to. His brother just let that kid go into the woods alone when he knew that there were wolves in there. That's pretty janky.
Well, that's not really his brother.
Yeah,
it's not?
His adopted brother.
Yeah, he clearly didn't care about him.
He never treated him well.
I wouldn't even say adopted brother. They just kind of took him into the home to take care of, but they use him as more of a servant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I missed all that.
Cinderella.
You missed all of that?
Yeah, I thought that was his dad and his brother.
Oh no, they said it like the narrator said it.
Like I said, fantasy football season is going strong.
Oh, so another thing, something I want to point out: that wolf that was desperately trying to eat him.
I like that he came back.
I have gripes with that wolf for two reasons. One, that wolf clearly hasn't eaten anything in a good while, and two, wolves don't hunt alone. So was he exiled from the pack?
Maybe because he sucked at hunting.
You know what?
He chose. I'm just gonna say he chose bad prey too. There's a bunch of animals in that forest.
And he chose the smartest ones.
Scrawny child just walking.
Right.
There is a plump squirrel up in a tree somewhere, bro. Go hunt that.
Yeah, I think Joey's right. He just sucked at hunting. They was like, get him out of here.
Clearly did. He couldn't even get the jump on a child.
Each phase of this movie had its own antagonist.
I like that.
That's true.
You really? Think about it. When he was just a boy, it was the wolf. When he was the fish, it was the bigger fish. When he was a squirrel, it was the female squirrel. And then when he was the bird, it was the hawk.
And then Madam Moon.
Okay, I'm gonna say that female squirrel was not the antagonist. It was Merlin. He was clawing at stuff and then laughing about it.
I mean, I don't know if he was the antagonist. I think she was still the antagonist. He was more of an
instigator.
assisting role there.
Yeah, he was the
I
instigator.
can't call it
I
antagonist.
would-
She
no,
got her
I would
heart
say-
shattered at the end there.
The antagonist of that
She
scene
felt
was
it.
definitely the wolf.
Oh yeah, the wolf does come back for that.
Yeah. So to hop on that, the way that the female squirrel absolutely cooked that wolf was mad. Like she tricked him off that ledge and then just ran up his back and jumped right back on it. That was a sick crossover.
So I'm gonna make a different kind of comparison now. Speaking of that wolf, a lot of what that wolf went through, right? So before we've always made the comparisons of Tom and Jerry. I'm gonna throw a different one at you.
Oh, Tom Jerry. Let's go.
I'm gonna say,
Wile E. Coyote.
huh? Wile E. Coyote from Looney Tunes. Especially when he fell off the cliff into the like wooden log and then just kind of floated down the river. I'm like, I am literally looking at this like this is Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, I like it.
So there's our out comparison. Not Tom and Jerry this time.
Another problem I had was they were just going to appoint the King of England, whoever won a stupid competition.
You know,
Because they gave up on the sword. They're like, no one can pull this sword. We need a king, though. Whoever wins, whoever's the strongest.
Whoever's the best jouster.
Well, you gotta be kind of strong to do jousting. Well, it didn't even end in jousting because it went from jousting to sword fighting.
Huh.
You hit each other off a horse, then you get up and swing swords at each other.
Well, that's only if you don't stay down from the joust, or if you both get knocked down from the joust.
Tournament of Champions.
Yeah.
I like this tournament. How do I enter?
Again, the kingdom just doing the thing of we're going off of all brawn here.
You could sign up to work at the Renaissance Festival.
So what's funny is pulling the sword. Well, I guess it's not really brawn. It's just more like, hey, are you the lucky lottery winner?
You know,
One of my friend's boyfriends is a jouster at the Renaissance Festival.
I've never been to the Renaissance Festival.
Me
I hear
either.
nothing but
We should
good
go.
things.
I've
When
always
is it?
wanted to.
We'll go this
Let's
year.
make it a podcast trip this year.
Right?
Oh yeah, let's do it. I like this idea.
I'm down.
Podcast special. Let's go.
Live from the Renson. Not the Renson, that's the building in
Whoa.
Detroit.
That's a different area, I think.
It's completely different.
Yeah, we something else I want to talk about. I won't go into full details, but Merlin's spells were a little wild. All right, like that first spell.
That was my next note, man.
That first spell, I was like, wait a minute, what did he say? I had to rewind it back a few times. I'm like, okay, Merlin, I'm just checking.
Yeah, my next note was how terrible was Merlin's magic if he cast a spell to clean the kitchen and hours later it still wasn't done.
I mean, it's doing one dish at a time, and they had an entire room full of dishes. That's a lot. And they're just doing that just to punish the ward.
Yeah, terrible. I guess that makes sense because I was confused on why they were calling him that, so I guess you guys saying he wasn't their kid makes sense. Probably should pay attention more.
Yeah, it's all good. I don't think his magic's terrible. It's different, you know. I mean, heck, I would rather have that than washing them by hand like he was doing before. Be like, hey, it might take longer, but I don't gotta do it.
All right.
Have them dishes get clean one by one with magic.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
My next note is that I honestly don't understand how any of his training was helping him. The fish, the squirrel, the bird.
Well,
I
the
don't-
fish taught him how to kind of, like, you know, you start using his brain. That was the real initiative of you got to use your brain to get things done. The squirrel, there's nothing to learn from that. That was just pure, like, we're just going to mess around. He said, we're going to look, do you know how hard of a life a squirrel lives? And he just mess around as a squirrel.
Wait, Joey.
Hey.
Joey. So I've taken one note, and I never take notes during movies. But this is very important. You know, at the very beginning of the movie, when Merlin's getting water from the well, right?
Yep.
He opens his door. But the door doesn't make a noise at all. But it makes a noise when it closes.
Terrible.
I found that very important for me to take a note of.
Right.
Speaking on the sound, though, funny enough you mentioned that, there is a really cool thing they did, but then there's a mess up they did. Well, I don't know if it's an actual mess up, but it sounds like it. So the one cool thing is when when he's in the house, right, and he's like, I'm gonna make all of my furniture and stuff go into my bag. Before that, it sounds like normal audio. The second everything goes in the bag and all it is just this kind of giant empty cave, they made their voices echoing in there, and I was like, that's really cool, like kind of sound design.
Yeah.
But then later on, there is a mess up. I think it's a mess up. I don't fully know, but the kid starts talking like double. It almost sounds like he's echoing to himself. No one else echoes, and it's one like section of line delivery.
I love it.
And I thought for a second my speakers messed up, and then I rewind it and it did it again. But then the line after was fine. I was like, oh no, that was just that part.
At this point in Disney's history, I would think they would have fixed it if it was a mistake. Maybe they don't have the ability to.
So I'll interject here and maybe give a little bit of insight.
Do it.
With one of Kevin's little fun facts.
Ooh, thanks.
So, Arthur was actually voiced by 3 different actors.
I had a feeling. I'm like, he sounds different on 3 different parts. One, he sounded so much deeper. The other one, he sounded so much like lighter. Were the 2 most drastic.
So, Ricky Sorensen was the original voice actor. He was well known for, around that time, different projects. But the production of this movie spanned 3 years.
Yikes.
And he hit puberty during production. So the director cast his 2 brothers to complete the voiceover for the character.
Okay, that makes sense, because there's one scene where I think he's talking to the one dude who's kind of like, took him in. I don't want to call him his dad, but I don't know what to call him. I don't want to say he's his master, because he's not really, but the dude who owned that castle, basically, when he talked to him at one point, I think it was when he was telling him off with the magic, I'm like, his voice was like very deep. I was like, whoa, this kid stepped up after a few lessons of magic. Holy crap. But that makes sense now. So I appreciate that tidbit of information. That cleared something up.
Yep. So back to storyline and plot real quick to finish this up. The wizarding duel was a fun concept on the surface, but if you thought about it for a second, it was pretty lame. Because why are these wizards just turning into stupid animals and biting each other?
Man.
Merlin did do Madame Mim dirty, though, by turning into a disease. That was a dirty
smart.
move.
500 IQ.
Also, she found the loophole in her rule. She's like, I didn't say purple dragon. But that's why, again, she's using all these like advanced predators, and he's finding ways to just kind of escape them. And then when she breaks the rules and becomes, an all-powerful dragon, basically, well, bam, disease.
That dragon slightly resembled another dragon from earlier in Disney animation. Hashtag reused film strips.
Who was that?
Maleficent.
That dragon didn't look anything like Maleficent.
Go back.
I will go back. I'll show you a picture of that dragon's face and Maleficent's face. And you'll look silly.
The bodies.
There are similarities between the dragons.
There might have been like a couple scenes, but I don't think the dragon itself, because the dragon more or less was like I feel like a pudgier, sillier kind of dragon, not like as like dark and menacing as Maleficent's.
But yes,
there is actually 2 reuse scenes.
Yeah, this is the era of reusing animation, so I do not doubt it.
It
like
took a lot of elements from Sleeping Beauty.
Well, I was going to say
opening credit backgrounds.
Those were the same.
And separation animation sequences.
All right.
Well, I was just going to say from the beginning of the film, when he chases after Arthur to the forest. I don't remember what the big guy's name was. The one who was like his a technical, or as Joey would have called him, older brother, but not really his older brother.
Why'd you have to say it
When
like
he chased him into the forest, that same scene of him hopping over the tree branch and then him tripping over it was reused later at the jousting tournament when he's like, "You gotta get my sword," right? And he's like chasing him down. That is the exact same scene. I watched him like, they just changed up what was around it. That's all they did, but it's the same animation.
Yep, they did it a couple times, kind of like when what's his name, the quote unquote older brother was sitting there eating a bone, or eating meat off a bone and chucked it to the dogs. The same sequence was used twice.
Also, I will say, if we're talking about what character that looked like another, the king, or not king, he's not a king, the dude who owned the castle, I don't really know what to call him, he was reminding me so much of the king from Sleeping Beauty, Prince Philip's dad.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of the elements that are reused are mostly from Sleeping Beauty. The character designs were inspired by Sleeping Beauty. Archimedes looked like the owl from Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, to get back to storyline and plot from our conversation that could have been an animation, Merlin completely lost his crap on Arthur, but Arthur stood up for himself, and I liked that. When he was like, "What am I supposed to do?" Because that came out of nowhere. It was so weird.
Wait, are you talking about when he
towards
got
the
mad?
end, before he left for Bermuda, like right before he left for Bermuda?
I understand where Merlin was coming from, though. Like, this entire time you've been trying to get this kid to build himself up, educate himself, become greater than basically a servant, and Arthur's like, "I'm gonna be the best servant ever." He's like, "Bro, what are you doing?"
But he's trying to get him to follow his destiny that he doesn't know what the path of his destiny is. He just thinks there's one, and him going to London with them led him to the sword. So that was part of his destiny.
True.
Also, why bail on him? The whole time you've been working with him, you've known he's been working to be a squire, and he's never once told him, "No, don't become a squire." Yeah. He's never once through the whole thing told him not to. He's telling him, "You can be better, you can be smarter. I'm going to teach you how to be smarter and think with your head, fight with your head to be better." Never once saying, "Don't be a squire, don't be anything like this." Never saying, "Oh, you can be better than a squire." He's just told him in general he can be better.
Yeah.
Then he comes back and he's like, "I made Squire," the thing he's been telling him the whole time, what he's trying to become, and was upset when he got, kicked from it the first time, like, "You won't be his squire. Someone else will be his squire or his ward." And he was upset about it. He never once said, like, "Oh, don't worry, you can be better than that." No, but only at that moment he's like, "Oh, I thought you were going to be better than this." It's like, you never...
Oh, no, he did before, when they were in, like, the little weird rainy house or whatever. At the weird rainy castle.
The tower.
He was talking about how he wanted to be a tower. He was saying how he wanted to be a squire. And Merlin was like, why would you want to be that? Why don't you be something better? He did mention being better before than a squire. But Arthur was hell-bent on being a squire.
Well, it's because he's been kind of led up to believe that he's, not anything. He's nothing.
That is very true. I can't blame Arthur. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying I can understand where Merlin's coming from, but I can't blame Arthur. If your entire life you've been led to believe that, and some random old dude tells you you can be better, I'm gonna have a hard time believing him. I don't know this guy.
Also, just the fact that he's just like, I'm gonna leave and go on vacation now. Done with you, child.
It built up. He couldn't handle it anymore.
So the last two things I have is I was livid when he pulled the sword from the stone, and it was the most anticlimactic thing ever. But then they did it again and made it more grandiose, so it was all right.
Well, I think it's done like that because it's trying to show you that, it's effortless for him because he's the true king.
Yeah. So, ratings. Taquandra, what would you give storyline / plot?
I give storyline / plot like a 6.
And
It was just really mid.
Kevin?
I give it a 5.
Yeah. Mike?
I'm stuck between somewhere in a 7 and an 8. I think I'll give it an 8. I liked it.
And I am with the other two with a 6. And that leads us into characters. I really liked Merlin's design and the voice actor. I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And with that note, I absolutely hated the voice actor for Arthur.
Well, you gotta say voice actors,
Well, yes,
because which one are you
actors.
talking about now?
They all were terrible.
I actually did not mind the voice of Arthur. When I first saw him, I thought his voice would be a lot more like squeamish, but it was oddly all right for what the character was.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing with it, right? Is it great voice acting? Technically, no, but it's a child voice acting another kid. And I'm like, that's, in my opinion, perfect. And I think people, like, tend to gripe on that too much, because then when it's an adult who does it, then the gripe then becomes, why is their voice so deep?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a kid.
So
and
I
so
know-
it's like you can't win with that with a lot of people. So I give it a pass because I don't think it's bad. I think it's good.
Yeah,
Because he's supposed to be a kid.
I know I'm on the wrong side of things because I don't like child actors. Like, I refuse to watch Stranger Things because I don't like child actors.
I would never expect that, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they're skilled enough. There's some that are phenomenal, but vast majority of them, they're good for children actors. They're just not good actors in general, so I don't bother watching them. And I know that makes me a bad person.
Not really.
The thing is, I think there are a lot of child actors who are actually better than a lot of grown actors. They're much better than these grown adults who are actors, but they don't put in a lot of the work or effort.
Mm.
And then they just kind of get the pass to go through movies because they are technically an older character.
Right. The little milk thing for the tea was great. He was very sassy.
Was that milk or was that sugar?
I don't know.
I thought he was sugar. For sugar, he was spicy.
Oh, no.
Archimedes was funny too. He was such a troll, especially when that plane failed. He could not stop laughing.
Okay, that actually... Oh, I should save it for humor. I'm just going to say that made me really laugh.
What was that bird's problem? Why was he so sassy and rude?
Merlin's always having him do stuff. He's an owl. They sleep a lot.
And he's kind of like... I think he's supposed to be like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
Mr. Owl.
So far, I think every owl, minusing Sleeping Beauties, has been like, a grumpy old man.
Right.
No, that's because owls don't get a lot of love in life.
Arthur was
Actually,
cute
I
when he
saw
was a
a
bird.
really cute video of a baby. It was like a little owl. It was just kind of chilling and it had a feather sticking out. And it just looked as the person pulled the feather. And it was just looking. And it's just, I'm like, oh, that is the most adorable looking owl ever. I loved it so much. Owls can be cute when they're not wet, especially.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wet
that is
owls
terrifying.
look scary. Arthur as a bird was pretty cute, and then I really liked Madame Mim. I think her design was cool. Her personality was cool. I liked her.
Oh, right. I wish she had more screen time. She was such a cool character.
She shows up right at the end and then gets a disease and dies. She doesn't die.
She didn't die.
So that is all I have for characters, so I guess we can go
I
right
do?
into...
Wait, before that one king, he seems like a king. The guy at the very end with the nice strapping black beard and the navy blue armor and whatnot. I like that guy. That guy's cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
That guy was
But
gold.
he's cool.
He should have been
Because
king. He wasn't king because they were having a tournament to figure out who was king.
Yeah, he should have been king.
Well, he would have to win the competition.
I'm sure he was on his way, and he got mad when this little scrawny kid came and pulled the sword out of the stone.
I
I didn't think he was mad. Like, because he's the only one who was, because everyone else tried to jump in to pull the sword. They're like, go ahead, pull it, kid. And then everyone, the one dude's like, anyone could pull it out to pull watch, and then everyone jumps and he's like, back off. You gotta let the
that's not
kid
fair.
pull it.
I like that guy.
And he's the only one who stood up for him to be like, let the kid pull the sword, back off. He was more just like, how did someone finally pull it? That man's probably been waiting for years.
That's my king right there.
The man's was waiting for that sword to get pulled since he was Arthur's age.
But yeah, that's all I got for characters on my end.
So, Dequan, how do you rate the characters?
Character, believe it or not, I give them a nice 7. I like them.
Kevin, I know you didn't say anything that round, so I apologize for that. So, take this time to say
good.
anything.
Nothing. I didn't have much to say. I'd give him, I don't know, 6.
Cool. Mike?
I am going to give them an 8.
An 8, huh? I haven't really thought about it that much. Merlin, Mim, that should be king guy, Archimedes. I'll give him a 6.
I am
One
kind
thing
of wondering.
on characters is they actually, the animators, based Merlin off of Walt himself.
I was going to say that and I forgot, so thank you, sir.
Now the real question is, who's the more powerful sorcerer, Merlin or Yen Sid?
Definitely not Merlin. His spells didn't do anything.
Don't come at my man's Merlin like that, all right?
Watch it.
All right.
So visuals and animation. I like this animation better than 101 Dalmatians, but it still wasn't great.
Okay, so I'm going to counteract you on that. I think the Dalmatians was better than this one, but this
Dalmatians,
one's still pretty good too.
I can understand where you three would probably like Dalmatians better because Dalmatians is a lot more unique and artistic.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I think there was something I was curious about, and I just looked it up. Sorry. So yeah, Madam Mim, I believe, from the Tale of King Arthur, is supposed to be based off of Morgana, who is the evil sorceress who is always kind of battling with like Merlin, and then kind of also battles with like King Arthur. And then there's a lot of other weird stuff that happens, but I'm not going to get into that.
So that was Morgiana.
Basically, or the other name I believe works is Morgan Le Fay.
I like all three of the names, to be honest.
While we're talking about her, and that scene, the scene between Merlin and Madame Mim, like the quote unquote fight scene. For the time, it was known as actually one of the best animated scenes, because it was so difficult, especially at the time, to for the characters to go through very physical transformations, but yet still retain their distinct features. So that was something that I found interesting.
Well, I'm gonna say they nailed it. They did really good on everyone's transformation. Arthur's, Merlin's, Mim's.
So for visuals, the scene when they go outside the castle walls and they're walking along the moat and everything's like yellow, I really liked that scene. It's really nice. But other than that nothing stood out to me.
Agreed.
So I think we can rate this to Quandrick. What do you say?
I will also give this a 7 because I like it, but it didn't do anything too crazy.
Kevin?
Sorry, what?
What do you rate the animation?
I apologize. Kid got up.
Yeah, no worries.
Visual animation. I'm gonna give it a 6.
And Mike.
So I'm gonna give it a 9 Because it's the same kind of animation, I believe, that came from 101 Dalmatians, and I appreciate that because I like that style, like that sketchy style for the lines and stuff on the arms, and like the clothing and everything. And I like how everything kind of flows. I like the motion to the animation a lot. But because it's very similar to something I've already seen, it's not that it's really lesser, but it didn't do anything more innovative with it, I felt like.
Okay. I'm giving it a 4.
Oh my god, what did you give Dalmatians?
3.
He gave it a 3, so it's one higher. Let's go.
See, the way that I think about it is like when I get to Lion King and I give it a 10 for animation, I can't justify Mike giving it a 9, and it's only 1 point lower than that. It's not. It's so much lower.
Fair.
Wait till I give Lion King a 1. Or you know what? Better yet, Encanto. Wait till that gets a 0.
I
Oh,
will.
no.
I will literally fight you. That movie is creeping up to the number 1 spot every single time.
It's such a good movie.
When I was in Disney World, I was looking for Mirabelle because sometimes she pops up as a meet and greet character. She didn't. But
I
music.
can't wait till we get there.
Music gets 3 years from now.
Yep, 3 years from now.
Music and soundtrack. The only note I have is the opening song, but actually wasn't that bad. And then the rest of the movie happened.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest.
It sounded like you said, and then the rest of the movie happened.
That's what I said.
Oh, dang. Dang, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This wasn't it. Like as a wise man once said, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Because this wasn't it. I'm sorry. I have to say that I did not enjoy the music at all.
I appreciated that poll. That was good.
Like, okay, the music, there's nothing that stands out. Again, it's like this is feels like very low to safe played movie, and the music kind of feels that way too. It's very catchy. It's kind of like, for me anyways, it was kind of catchy. It was enjoyable to listen to. It didn't make me want to smack my head against the wall, but at the same time, when I go back and think, like, even when going into this, I'm like, I don't think there's any music in this movie. And even leaving, I'm like, I still, like, I know I just heard music, but I still am like, I don't even think there was really music to it. Because there's nothing that just stands out. Nothing really stands out and makes itself really known or present. Kind of just happens. It's kind of there. But it's not offensive in any way, I don't think. And it was enjoyable.
Did they sing a song when they were fish?
Yes.
That
was
song
to
was
and
okay.
fro.
That song was okay.
So I'm going to say this about the score. And Joe, you and I both have gone on record and said that the songs and the score in the movie, it's a pretty big part.
Yep.
The Sherman Brothers, this is their first Disney movie that they worked on.
See, I thought that was the case, but I couldn't find anything to back it up, so I didn't say anything.
Yes, it is. And this being their first Disney movie, they also went on to do the Mary Poppins soundtrack, the whole Winnie the Pooh franchise, all the scores for those, the Jungle Book, Aristocats. All these are good soundtracks, right? These are good scores.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like this one really missed the mark. It was below the average there for their works.
They go till Alan Menken takes over, right?
Yes,
yeah.
I believe so.
And man, he killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does kind of work for it being their first one, you said, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, again, play it safe. Don't do anything that puts us into something. And they did, and they're like, okay, that didn't go too well. Let's try to up it up a little bit. That could be what happened.
Yeah. Or they were just inexperienced.
Maybe they're nervous.
I just
they're like,
think
ooh, okay, we got this.
You look at anybody on their first go, it's not going to be as good as their last.
That actually is why there's a thing I heard that says when you are getting to work on something you really want, like your dream thing, never let that be your first one.
Right.
Save that for a later. When you
Yep.
make your dream thing your first one, you can never go back to it.
Okay. So,
Work on smaller things to build to it.
Dequan, how would you rate the music?
2.
Kevin?
I'm gonna have to go with 4.
And Mike?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
I am going to go right back down to where Dequan is for the 2.
I thought you were. Oh, you should have gone 3. Oh,
It
that
would've
would
been 2,
bother
3, 4,
me.
5.
Oh, dude, it would have been 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Oh, my OCD is kicking in. That is driving me nuts.
So for those of you who can't see my computer or Mike's computer, I have us listed on the spreadsheet in alphabetical order. So it goes Dequan, then me, then Kevin, then Mike. So it would have been 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, Mike.
Okay.
Had I noticed that,
I'm just-
I definitely would have given it a 3 just for that reason.
Uh,
But no, it would be a fake. It would be fake if I changed it. So
oh, but you would be making me not kind of crazy over here.
so moving on. Humor. There was some funny moments. I think it had more funny moments than Lady
Wait,
and the
are we on
Tramp.
humor?
Yep.
I thought we were on emotion.
No, the order on the spreadsheet is different of the order that we go in. I haven't fixed it yet.
Okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so like I was saying, this movie I think has more funny moments than Lady and the Tramp, so that's probably the only good thing I'll say about it. Like Merlin constantly getting caught in his beard. Phenomenal.
Yeah, or just everything with his beard. Like when Arthur was a fish, when he first turned him into a fish, he was like swimming through his beard.
The man has a wild beard, but speaking into humor, that owl, when that owl started cracking up about that plane getting messed up from that beard, that went on for so much longer than it probably was going to, because I swear, I'm like, I felt like it was dragged out, and because it was dragged out, I laughed, because I was like, this owl is so petty about that flying thing.
It was so great.
It was hilarious, because it didn't just go into like a it didn't just go into like a chuckle or like a laugh, like a ha ha ha. It went into like a higher pitch, like if you get into like a laughing fit and you start like kind of wheezing from it, or like kind of like start to lose your breath from laughing. That's what kind of happened to him. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, that is hilarious actually, that you were dying.
And
His laughter, him dying from it, was just making me laugh. That's what made me laugh.
It's even better when you think about the fact that Merlin can see the future, so he knows that planes are a thing and that it works, but he tries to prove it and it completely fails, and he can't say anything to Archimedes, losing it.
Because even if you try, he's like, oh, it will, huh? What just happened? And then he just die laughing even more. He just had to sit there and take it. Oh, man.
Another great part was when the kitchen lady was complaining to Merlin, and she was like, if you try that again, I'll, and then Merlin cuts her off and be like,
No, you won't.
No, you won't, madam. And then he disappeared. Merlin was great.
I liked that. I didn't really find that. I guess it was a funny scene, but I thought it was like more of like just like a cool scene. Like
Yeah.
she's
I
trying to
thought it was
tell him off, be all tough, and he's like, no, no, you won't. And it just dips.
Madam Mim, for some reason, I thought it was funny when she said, I'm afraid I'm going to have to destroy you.
Oh, he likes you? You're pure? Oh, I guess we're gonna have to destroy you now. Oh, well.
And
So casual about it.
my favorite moment was when she goes up to Merlin and she was like, do you want to fight? And she slaps him. So good. And then, like Mike, you mentioned, she said, I didn't say no purple dragons.
Mm-hmm. Like the second she said no pink dragons, I'm like, oh, she's gonna loophole this like crazy. I didn't expect the purple dragon. I thought it was just gonna be a regular dragon. But I guess that's what happens when you have multiple color coats in your character design.
Right. And speaking of color codes, she had the Disney villain green.
Wait, did she?
Yep, her eyes
In
were
the
Disney
eyes,
villain
right?
green.
Oh.
I feel like, I don't know why hearing you say that, I'm just expecting like the color spectrum, right? You look at green, you got green, lime green, emerald green, Disney villain green. Just in the color palette. Nate,
I'm just sitting here
Speaking of
wondering why the
green
wolf
color-
didn't have it.
What?
I said I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, why did the wolf not have Disney color villain green?
Well, they can't.
Well,
They don't
'cause the
give it
wolf's
to
not
every
evil.
villain.
Well, the wolf's also not evil.
Yeah,
the wolf
the
is
wolf's
an
just a wolf.
antagonist, but the wolf is just following what it's supposed to do. It's
The wolf's
nature.
just a wolf. But speaking of
She
colors,
was literally like, I like to just destroy things. I'm just evil because, oh, you're good and Merlin likes you, so that means you're definitely good. It's gonna destroy you because you're good.
going back to the shades of green real quick, I cannot wait to talk about what Disney did with the color green in Encanto in 3 years.
In 3 years.
But with that, we'll jump into the ratings of humor. Dequan.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I slept through most of the humor. So like I can't give it anything higher than like a 5. I'm serious. Like I remember so little humor from it, like, and it's sad because the first humor thing I remember is him struggling to get the chain off of him, and everything else just whoosh over my head. So yeah, I gotta give it a 5. Like I gotta be neutral here.
Yeah, I know you guys don't like it when I compare to other movies, but you're saying you don't remember the humor and you're giving it a 5, but you gave Peter Pan a 2.
Bro, like that's the problem. I gotta be neutral if I don't know the humor.
Yeah. Kevin.
6.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Mike.
Slightly above average, right?
Yeah.
That is indeed true.
By definition.
I kind of want to give it. I'm gonna give it a 7. The
Alright.
owl, because the owl generally made me laugh out, like actually laugh,
Yeah.
because it's so petty.
Because of Mim, Merlin, and the owl, it gets a pretty good score. So I think I'll also give it a 7. That feels wrong to give it that high of a score, though. But I'm
It's too
committed.
late. You can't go back
I'm
now.
committed. I'm
Yeah, you don't go back and give it that 3. You definitely ain't going back for that one.
World building. Merlin's tower was alright because of how bad it was, and the moat, like I said, was nice. Other than that, I guess I might have not been paying attention enough to notice how good the world building was.
It wasn't.
I'll be real.
But I mean, I guess if you take in the lore of King Arthur and you think about the world building of King Arthur, I think that might be cheating. But you have the magic of Merlin and the sword, so.
Well, technically, you could take the world building into Merlin's future vision,
Right.
where he's pulling in everything from what is going to come from that point on and forward.
I think that's what Joe likes to call a stretch.
I'm stretching. Call me the big stretch.
I liked the committed. I don't know what to call that.
The full commitment
Yeah.
to the bit.
Yeah. Nothing stood out too much for world building for me.
Yeah, honestly, as a fan of the King Arthur story, it wasn't really a lot. You mostly just got, some forestry, a couple castles unnamed, and then just the drop of I believe King of all England, or was it
Yeah.
King of all? Yeah, King of all England.
And they were going to London.
Yeah, and they never mentioned like the area of Camelot. They never mentioned anything like cool name drop areas like where the Lady of the Lake is or anything like that. So in the department of where the source material comes from, it is very lacking, even lacking in what it is just trying to hold. But the fact of Merlin, them keeping true to Merlin could see the future and predicted a bunch of things in, such as like how it comes into our timeline here, basically, like into the future. It's kind of cool. I don't know if it's done good, if you would say it's good or not, but it was cool, I would say.
Kevin, do you have anything to add?
No.
All right.
I mean, you're kind of just, I mean, you're hitting it on the head. It's like it wasn't that it was bad, but I mean, what much is there to build,
Yeah.
It just sucks because so many cool things they can pull from the Legend of King Arthur. The whole tale of it, they didn't do a lot with it. It makes me kind of upset with it, really.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing as Ichabod. That story, the Sleepy Hollow story, is great, and they just didn't dive into it that much.
Yeah, and you saw how much I like that movie.
Pieces, though.
I think that's still... Is that the lowest score, I think, still? My Ichabod and Mr. Crane one?
Yeah, nothing's going to be lower than a 20. Ever. No, you didn't get... Your highest score on that was a 5 and a 4, and then everything else was a 2 or lower.
It was not good for what the source material it comes from. It was almost insulting, in my opinion.
It was not
Every
good.
character sucked.
It was not good. I agree with you. But
that movie's in the past, and now we're going to the future. Seeing the future like Merlin.
Nice tie-in. Good save.
Thank you.
Bequan, what do you give the world building of the Sword and Stone?
That's like a 2. That's my favorite number this podcast.
You're given the same amount of 7s as you did 2s, so...
You're right. I gave more 6s, right? Like
No.
one more 6.
You got a 6, a 7, a 2, a 5, a 2, and a 5.
Oh, I gave more 5s than 2s.
2s, 5s, 2 2s, and 2 7s.
But technically, he is still holding to the 2s. He's got 2 2s, 2 5s,
Right.
2 7s.
I gotta switch this up. Something gotta be an 8, right?
I don't think anything could be an 8 for you.
Kevin, what do you think?
I'm gonna add a little something extra here that I'm just kind of thinking about. I really enjoyed the tower, the tower in the castle that Merlin got put in. That he was housed in. Right? They put a lot of emphasis on the rickety, the leaks. He was putting umbrellas through the holes. At one point, I think someone fell and it showed Merlin in the tower, and the tower was swaying. And it added a little more to that castle. With the moat, and he's talking about why there even is a moat, and I don't know. It at least moved it up a point or 2 for me. So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Nice.
Kevin, you just reminded me of something that bothered me. Was when he was sticking the umbrellas through, and I'm like, okay, he's using magic. Why doesn't he just make a giant umbrella? And I see him physically doing it. I'm like, all right, dude, why are you physically putting umbrellas through these holes? Why don't you fix this up for yourself? You have magic, my man.
Bill's character.
I think that was too predictable.
That's working smarter. He worked harder. He did more brawn than brain.
That's wonderful. Mike, what would you give the world building?
This one's really hard for me because, you know what? I'm just gonna say 5. I'm gonna stick 5. I'm gonna go middle ground too.
I'm just gonna hop right on that bandwagon and go 1 lower, the 4. Emotional impact, none.
Absolutely none.
I don't know, man. That squirrel getting her heartbroken kind of shattered me a little.
I hated that scene, so it did nothing for me. And DeQuandrick was sleeping.
I mean, if it put me to sleep, that boy's a 0.
Kevin?
I don't know. It's not going to be a high score. But there was some emotion. All the way that the I'm sorry, none of us remember his name, but the father figure we're gonna go with.
Did he have a name?
We'll call him Cletus.
The way that he disciplined Arthur, and he made him clean. He basically kind of like a Cinderella story.
But he was kind of nicer though when you think about it. Like he still
He
gave
was
Arthur
right
like
at the end.
His
like,
name was Sir Ector.
And he just got humbled at the end.
But no, I mean like when he was having them clean stuff, like he was like relatively, like he wasn't like, you know, Cinderella mom-ish or.
Oh no, he wasn't evil.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
like-
mean about it, but he used it as a punishment.
Yeah, like he was more like, what's what I'm looking for, like.
He's like, that's 6 demerits. That's 6 more hours in the kitchens with you.
Right, but
Like, wow.
yeah, he was a little like unnecessary with the punishments, but he was kind of like. He spoke to him and gave him opportunities for things. That's
Yeah.
the weird part.
He wasn't a jerk to him, and he actually did care, right? Like when he was stuck in the woods, he was like, I care for that boy. Like, not that like I care for him, but he's
leave him
like,
out there.
yeah, why would you just let him go off into the woods like that, knowing he could get hurt? I took him in and raised him, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not. I'm not like saying it's Cinderella exactly, but it's like it gives you the vibes.
I get what you're saying. He was still unnecessary with the punishments.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like Arthur himself is in the same predicament, is forced to essentially be a servant for them.
Yeah.
So,
So with that, I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with a 4.
all right, going out of order, but Dequan, what do you say?
Oh, sorry. You said it was
I
my
was
turn.
I was trying to get your
with the-
input before I moved on to the
I already have gave mine.
I knew
gave
I was
mine
going to
the-
confuse you with that.
I jumped the bracket way early. I said 0.
Oh, okay. So I guess
Wow.
you didn't go out of order. Look at you go.
Mm.
Mike.
Calculated.
I'm gonna say a 5. I'll just keep it in the middle.
So I was going to give it a 0 until I remembered that I really enjoyed how Arthur got so hurt from Merlin losing his crap on him, and then how he stood up for himself. So that, I'm debating between a 2 and a 3, and there's just so much none else emotional impact, so it's going to be a 2.
It was a good scene, too.
So what is the
So-
next one? Message/theme. So I looked it up
Here we go. Joey's favorite.
like I do, and it said friendship above all else, and I don't know that
That
is
is
exactly
not the
that is not
message.
the theme.
What?
No,
Above all
no.
else, what?
Yo,
Yeah.
can I
The
do
message
that?
is clear as day. Do
Make
not
love to
rely
all
on
squirrels.
brawn. Outsmart. Be smart.
Yeah,
Pay
that-
attention to your studies and learn to outsmart your opponent.
No, that don't even
Learn
sound
to
right.
outthink things.
we were all talking over Kevin, and he said, "Watch out for squirrels" or something like that.
Nope.
Oh no, I heard him. I heard him.
Leave it hidden in the archives. What I said.
I heard something about squirrels.
Yeah.
I'm just like
No.
that telling me the message is about friendship
Yeah, no.
overall. Nah, that man no.
Yeah, Mike, your message of what you said makes a lot more sense than what Google told me. The
I'm gonna
Quandrix
give-
seem to have words for that, though.
Bro, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that message translated well either, to be honest. Like,
You slept
maybe
through the lessons.
maybe because I was asleep, but like,
Yeah,
I
I think that's
recall
the
this
big
man
problem,
using-
is you were sleeping.
You
Right.
slept through those lessons.
I'm just saying, like, I don't recall this man using much of his intelligence to overcome many things. I'm gonna be
So-
honest.
In the fish scene, when Arthur was getting chased by the big fish, he was telling him that he needs to figure out a way to come up with a way to beat this bigger fish. So, and then Merlin was telling him at first he was telling him he needs to figure out a way to get away from the squirrel, but then he was like, you just need to accept it.
That man tortured him with the
A
squirrel.
lie over.
There was no lesson. I'm telling you, that was just a
But-
goof around in class.
But Joey, even you said yourself, you feel like most of his outcomes were luck based.
Yeah, well, I'm not giving it a very big score.
Right. No,
I'm
like,
just saying.
I'm going off what you say. You said Mike's makes a lot more sense. I'm like, I don't know,
It
man.
does makes more sense than friendship above everything else.
And it does because Merlin drives that lesson home like 5 times.
Let me tell you what my message is, right? Let me tell you
Oh,
the
boy.
right message, right?
Go next.
The message of the story is stand up for yourself and see what you're capable of. That's the real message right there.
I could see that too. There's been much worse takes in this segment.
Right.
All right, the real
Honestly,
message.
Oh,
I
boy.
can see that, but the only issue is the 2 times he stood up, it didn't plan out well for him, and he didn't really get to achieve much afterwards with that. It kind of just got him in more trouble. He lost Merlin when he stood up for himself, and then when he stood up to the king, he got de-warded, which actually technically is a good thing, but in his eyes was not.
Trial and error.
And then he
Randy,
didn't really
you get-
stand up to anyone with the sword. He kind of just was like, I gotta go find a sword. I'm just gonna grab this one. So he didn't really stand up for himself, and it worked out. Because even with the sword, he kind of got pushed to the side until someone else said, hey, let him do it.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
All right, the real message and theme here.
Here we go.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
No matter if you take the street smarts route of a squire or the book smarts route of Merlin's understudy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Destiny's already set.
I guess.
Can't beat destiny.
Boom.
I guess.
I mean, there's a
Yes.
there's a ninja named Naruto that will most certainly beat Destiny.
Believe it. Believe it.
So completely,
That's my ninja way. My
completely,
ninja way. Believe it.
completely off topic, but kind of on topic because you're bringing it up. But there's a wrestler named Shayna Baszler, and she sounds exactly like Naruto. It's crazy.
Oh Lord, I need to see
Yeah,
this.
I'll send you a video.
Yeah, you're gonna send me a video.
Could have hit someone with the Rasengan
But
out of the ring.
Dequan, what would you give the message and theme?
Oh, bro, 0.
What the
Absolute 0, bro. If I can give it negative points, I would, but I can't.
My vengeance will be swift.
Kevin.
1.
Mike.
My vengeance. I'm gonna give it. I want to give it a 7.
And I'm going to give it a 2. So, legacy.
My vengeance.
So, the only legacy, because this movie is not well known, I didn't even know this was a movie until last year.
I knew of it. I just didn't think it was good, and I've been proven right.
Listen, the legacy is Merlin, and Merlin being based off Disney, the man himself.
I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
The only thing that I can say positive of the legacy is that they have the sword in the stone at Disney World, and I think Disneyland. I'm not sure about the international parks. And once a day, they let someone pull it out of the stone, and then that person gets something. I don't remember what.
That's pretty dang cool.
I think it's a certificate.
Yeah.
I think it's always a kid.
It's
Someone said
mostly
like
a
they
kid.
always let a kid be
Almost
able to pull
always a kid. But it's so funny because you'll see these big dudes go up there and be like, I can pull it. No, you can't. It's locked in place.
it. I'm gonna go up to it with a crowbar and a wrench and be like, "Watch me!" But now
There's a
I'm
live
not
action
actually.
remake
Don't
of this
actually.
movie.
I'm not gonna.
Not Disney, is it?
It's coming out.
Oh, yeah, coming out, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it's in
gonna
the works right
live
now.
action Sword and Stone. That might be really good, actually.
That's what I'm saying. It's bound to be better than the original.
That one, not knowing anything, and even though I'm very much against live actions, maybe I'm on the fence. Is maybe it'll do good with it. Because this is one that is like can be definitely improved in my opinion. As much as I liked it, it can definitely be improved because it's not great.
Yeah. Look at the
This is when I'm like, I'll give the live action a shot. Well, at least I'll keep my eyes open towards it instead of being like, nope, not watching it.
Is this Excalibur, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't
Sword
know
in the
that.
Stone, the Sword of King Arthur is Excalibur, yes.
I'm not finding anything online on what you get, so you must not get anything.
You get a round of applause. Good job, kid. Pat on the back. Now go hop on the teacups or something.
You get the honor of being the hero of Fantasyland. That's all I'm finding.
There you go.
Which is the land that it's in Disney World.
Kid turns out to be a little Joffrey.
Now, we
To
do
anyone who
need
knows
to be
Game of
careful,
Thrones.
though, and not give it points for the legacy of the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Oh, no.
No, I know. And I can't even do that because it doesn't do... It takes, like, the names, and it doesn't do... It takes, like, 2 names you know. And then that's it, really. And the kind of the myth behind it. And as someone who's a fan, it doesn't do a lot with it. So, you don't really have to...
So, Dequan, what would you give it for legacy?
Okay, for Legacy, I will give it a 4. And the reason I say a 4 is like what you guys just said about the Disney World and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's pretty cool. And following the fact that I'm going to throw some little video game stuff in here. Kingdom
You
Hearts.
suck.
Kingdom Hearts, like the fact that Merlin shows up in the video game of Kingdom Hearts with his Disney and Square Enix, he plays a very prominent role, giving you the ability of magic and whatnot. And I didn't know who Merlin was at the time. Like, who is this?
How dare you steal my thunder? How dare you?
So, speaking of that, really quick, a guy at work has been saying that he was going to listen to our podcast, and he just keeps forgetting, but he finally listened to it. And he said that he loves that one guy. He doesn't know any of our names except mine, obviously. He said the one guy that brings up Kingdom Hearts. I really appreciate that.
There you go, Mike.
And then he said
You
DeQuandrick.
stole
He said
my
DeQuandrick. He said DeQuandrick is hilarious, and he said, and that other guy really knows his fun facts. That's incredible. He didn't say anything nice about me, so.
He's telling everyone else nice things about you. He can't tell you that to your face.
Yeah, he can't say
It's
it to
too
your face.
embarrassing.
They're like,
Let's
yeah,
tell
if
someone else.
the podcast is almost perfect if that stupid main host was gone.
No, the main host keeps things together.
Don't make up stories.
Okay, Kevin, what would you give it for legacy?
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Fair. Mike.
Okay, and I'm not doing this because of the legend of King Arthur. I'm doing this based off of just the things that I know, and I'm give it a 6. It gets a 6 because there is an actual sword in the stone thing at like Disneyland or Disney World. Like Dito said, stealing my thunder about this was Merlin being a wizard that teaches you magic throughout the game of Kingdom Hearts itself. He teaches you all different kinds of magic and has a whole room for you to practice. And the room itself is all of his furniture that dances around and moves around.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, what I have to do now, because unfortunately I've looked, and it is 1 point below Bambi at the moment. It's 3 points below The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. And
This
it's-
isn't fair.
And it's tied with Fantasia.
Rigged.
But-
Rigged.
But
Yeah.
before I looked at it, I was going to give it a 2 for the simple fact of the stone in the parks. So
Leave
unfortunately,
it. Two.
Leave it.
it does not go past The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, but it does go ahead of Bambi. So, with that, our final scores. Mike is very different from us. Mike has a 67.
Not bad.
Kevin has a 44. And then DeQuandrick and me both have a 38.
Oh boy.
That's not great. It has a show rating of 46.75, and that might be the lowest show. Nope, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad isn't doing so hot.
Yeah, Mike kind of dragged that.
Well, we didn't do
Hey,
much, but
be
Kevin
better.
gave it a 37, and I gave it a 39. So,
So what's this? The second worst?
no, Bambi is lower. Fantasia is lower.
Mm.
Mike helped it out big time from not being the worst.
Look at you, Mike. Being the hero we knew you were.
But we'll
me King Arthur!
we'll get more into that when we do our bonus episode on the bronze, or what is this, the Silver Age? Yeah, the Silver Age, which is in 2 episodes. How about that? Speaking of next episodes, before we move on, never mind, I'll talk about it at the end. We're running out of time here, so I'm just going to skip over the fan fiction section because how in the world are you going to come up with any theories? I'm sure Mike can come up with something, but
The only fan theory I technically had was that the one dude at the end with like the black hair and like the dark armor who told him, you know, hey, let the boy cook, would become one of the Knights of the Round Table.
I like that 100%. 100% buy that.
You're right. I like that because I like that guy, to be honest.
100% buy into that.
Also the same with the one dude who he was going to be the squire too. I feel like those two would become Knights of the Round Table.
Wait, which knight was it? Is it Lancelot the one that betrays Arthur?
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be his brother. You can. I feel it.
He's got Lancelot vibes.
He's gonna stab him in the back.
So, for Riley's emotions, what was everyone's favorite and least favorite moment? Now, mind you guys, we have maybe 20 minutes before the file's too big, so...
All right, let's blitz this then. Favorite moment. Wow. All right, least favorite moment. The ending. Like, it just felt lazy.
Yeah,
But that's it.
it sure was. That's a valid point. You don't have a favorite moment?
Man, I really don't. I just don't.
All right, Kevin.
All right. Favorite moment is the wizard fight scene with Madame Mim and Merlin.
I can see that.
Least favorite is I'm gonna agree with Deke on there. The ending, it was very anticlimactic.
Yep. I can't say anything about that either. Mike?
My least favorite is gonna be Merlin getting mad at Arthur because I just feel so out of place.
Yeah.
And then favorite scene. Favorite scene's a little hard for me because I think the wizard battle is really entertaining, but in an opposite of Kevin and Dino, I kind of like when he pulls the sword out in front of everybody after the guy's like, yo, let him pull the sword, like kind of there where everyone's like, he's the king, he's the one. I don't know, I kind of like it.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't really have a true favorite scene, to be fair.
I do. My favorite scene to combat your least favorite scene is when Arthur stands up for himself. And I would say that Merlin's him yelling at him is the most uncomfortable scene, but I feel like that's very plot important to the movie. And you guys know I don't knock things that are important to the plot.
Sure.
So my least favorite is by far that stupid squirrel scene. The entirety of it is pointless. So what is everyone's...
Actually, scratch that. I've got my favorite scene. It's going to be the fish scene. Make that one. Because that drives the message with it. There you go.
Well, you don't have to change your ratings because the way I do things.
No, that's not it. Because I was like, I couldn't think of an actual one I would say was my favorite scene. But because that one actually drives kind of the message, it gives an example of what the message of the movie is and everything like that. That I'm like, that's the one I would pick, I guess.
I feel like we can.
But I do like the last scene, even though they also, and I don't disagree with them saying it's lackluster because it is. But I do still like it.
It sure is. If that squirrel scene didn't happen, it would be that ending scene for me.
Is your worst scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying that for my best or favorite moment.
I know. But you were saying that them two were saying it was their least favorite.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. I think we can skip favorite and least favorite song because I definitely don't have a favorite song.
I don't even know
Pegasus
the name
is
of
the
any.
favorite.
What?
When he's packing up his stuff. It's called.
I'll agree with Kevin on that.
I guess my favorite is when he's the opening credit song, or favorite song
The
is the opening credit
Legend
song.
of the Sword and the Stone.
Yeah. And then least favorite is
They
everything
brought
else.
the book back.
Yeah, you got the books, yeah.
Now that's a book I actually want. The Snow White one was cool, but I wouldn't actually want it. This one I actually want.
Yeah. Favorite and least favorite character, Dequan.
Favorite character? Oh man, because he doesn't get enough screen time. I can't name that guy. All right, you know the guy. Can't name him. Self-appointed king, in my opinion.
Oh,
so I'm
okay,
gonna go
yeah.
with Merlin. Merlin's my favorite character. My least favorite character is actually no. Yeah, no, I don't think I have a least favorite character. I'll be honest. Like I don't have a least favorite character.
That's an interesting thing. I wouldn't have seen that coming. But is there just too many at the bottom, or
No,
too
they're
many
just
mids?
nobody. I generally like. I don't like this person. Like,
Yeah.
although real quick and bliss is real quick. Although like adopted dad was not a great person, but he wasn't necessarily meant for me. I didn't dislike him. His brother, he just existed. So like, I don't have anyone I dislike.
Fair. Kevin.
Favorite's Merlin, least favorite's the brother.
Yeah, I can see it. Mike.
Favorite is Archimedes, and least favorite is the brother.
Yeah. So I don't know between Merlin and Archimedes, so just the sake of saving time, I'm going to say Archimedes. And then least favorite is easy for me. It's that stupid squirrel.
Which one?
The one that gets more time on screen.
The one after Arthur?
Yeah. We don't have any messages or anything to talk over, so that's it. I am surprised we talked as much as we did on this movie. I thought this was going to be like a quick 60-minute thing and be done. But, I mean, it's good. We were able to come up with stuff to talk about. The next movie is The Jungle Book. But next week is Labor Day. Is that going to affect anything?
No,
Yes.
I work Labor Day, so it doesn't. Oh wait, Kevin? Kevin, no.
We can talk about this after.
Okay, yeah. That's probably more a more appropriate place to talk about it.
True.
So
It's
the
been
next
time.
episode will be The Jungle Book, and that will round up the Silver Age. And it is insane that we're already through the Silver Age.
Dang, I'm looking at this and it's got like this is like about to be a double feature Dino special.
Because it's Jungle Book Aristocats.
Oh, yes! Oh, that's lovely.
Man, I can't wait to throw these through the gutter.
You can
My
try.
vengeance.
You can try.
Zeros across the board.
You can try.
It'll be flat zeros from here on out.
You know who score I'm really looking forward to? I'm really looking forward to Joey scoring Aristocats. That's gonna be the day that I giggle with glee.
So
I'm
you guys,
confident you're gonna like it.
you guys remember how I was talking about I got that Disney Dorable thing of Aristocats that I was trying to get rid of?
You got a second one?
So the Disney Dorable Movie Moments Series 2 came out, so I went and bought a Series 1 again so I can get Steamboat Willie before they're not selling anymore. And I opened it up and it was freaking Aristocats again. And I sent it to the Quandrick and he was like, oh, just give the movie a chance. And I was like, even if it's my favorite movie in the world, I don't want two of them.
Oh, it was great. It was a great little conversation.
So, if you want to contact us, let us know what you think of the new format. I think it worked better, but that's just me. If you guys disagree, we'll switch it back. Email us at themagicofAnimation@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok at TMOA_pod, and that's the same. TMOA. That is the same across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, I believe. Right,
And
Mike?
soon to be YouTube.
Soon to be YouTube. So that's going to make this segment go a lot quicker instead of me having to say underscores in between each word and then Mike saying two different things for his things and two different things
Just
for TikTok
follow us all on the
Instagram.
TMOA.
Yeah, TMOA. It's so great. I listened to that guy when I clipped that and put it on TikTok. I listened to that for like 10 minutes.
I did listen to it for quite a minute as well. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Almost like someone would listen to you like chants. You just listen to chanting, Tamoa, Tamoa.
Pretty much.
My wife almost
perfect.
unfollowed us on TikTok though because she was like, "Who the heck is this?"
Wow.
What? She didn't see the post that said name change?
Yeah, that's why.
Wow.
Who
That's
dis?
why it stood out because it was big and bright and said "new name who dis," and she was like, "What the heck is TMOA?"
Wow, what a fake fan.
Right. So DeQuandrick, where can the people find you?
Well, they can't really find me because I don't really use my socials.
I'm telling you, you need a TikTok because that simple Snapchat you sent me yesterday with that Donald Duck filter on Snapchat, that was hilarious.
Bro, it really did get me though. I did get spooked by that.
Kevin is
I'll
radio
think about it.
silent, I believe.
TMOA pod.
And Mike, we already said where to find us, so if you're not on
Pod.
anything, right. And me, of course, you can find me at People Call Me Joey on Instagram and TikTok. And I guess YouTube too, but I don't post on YouTube, so I wouldn't waste your time.
I find it funny that the second I'm thinking I'm gonna change the name from Tamoa on TMOA on Twitter. Suddenly it's like everyone was like Tamoa, or Kevin says it, and everyone's like, "Yep, no, that's what it is."
When I was editing it, I was like, Mike was talking about how he didn't like the name and that he was going to change it, and then we all just started going crazy with it, and now it's the name of everything.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
It's fun stuff. Kevin struck at the right time.
Super fitting.
It's easier to search, man. The magic
It
of
is.
animation is just a really long name.
And it rolls off the tongue very
Yeah.
easy.
TMOA.
And TMOA is pretty good too, even if you didn't want to, if you wanted to be lame and not say TMOA.
Right.
Tamoa.
TMOA. But if you want to go on a vacation, you can hit me up at joey@castleexplorerstravel.com. And that's going to have to do it, I think. Do you guys have anything to add before we sign off?
Nope.
Nope.
And like I said, the next movie is The Jungle Book, but we'll have to figure out when we're recording that, so stay tuned. It probably, well, you don't have to worry about it for 2 weeks anyways, because we record a week ahead of time. So, forget what I'm saying. And remember, they all lived happily ever animated.
TMOA.